5 signs God is protecting you from hidden dangers. There are moments in life when everything seems to fall apart at once. Plans you carefully built begin to collapse. Doors you were certain would open remain shut, and people you trusted slowly drift out of your life. In those quiet, confusing spaces, it's easy to feel forgotten, even abandoned. You pray, you wait, you try to understand, but all you hear is silence, and deep down a question begins to echo in your heart. God, where are you? But here is a truth that many don't realize in the middle of those storms. God's silence is not his absence, and your disappointment is not proof of his neglect. There are battles you never saw, dangers you were never aware of, and paths that could have led to pain far greater than the disappointment you're feeling now. While you were asking God to open doors, he may have been protecting you by keeping them closed. While you were holding on to certain people, he may have been gently removing them to preserve your peace, your purpose, and even your future. God does not always protect you in ways that feel good in the moment. Sometimes his protection looks like delay. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it comes disguised as rejection. But behind every unanswered prayer and every unexpected turn, there is a loving Father who sees what you cannot see and knows what you are not yet ready to understand. So before you lose heart, before you assume that things are going wrong, take a moment to consider this. Your life may not be falling apart. It may actually be falling into place under God's protection. And as we walk through these signs together, you may begin to see that God has been closer, more active, and more protective than you ever imagined. Number 1. When doors close repeatedly, even when you tried your best, there is a kind of pain that comes from trying with all your heart and still being turned away. You prayed over it, you worked for it, you believed it was right, yet the door stayed closed, not once, but again and again. It can feel confusing, even discouraging, as if your effort meant nothing. But Scripture reminds us that not every closed door is a failure. Sometimes it is God's quiet way of saying, "This is not the path I have prepared for you." In the Bible, there are moments when even faithful servants were prevented from moving forward in certain directions. It wasn't because they lacked faith or obedience, but because God saw beyond the moment. He understood what lay ahead, what they could not see. A closed door is not always rejection. It can be redirection towards something that aligns more closely with his will. We often measure opportunities by how good they look on the surface. A better job, a promising relationship, a new beginning. It all seems right to us. But God looks deeper. He sees the hidden consequences, the unseen pressures, the spiritual risks that could slowly pull you away from peace, purpose, and truth. What feels like a missed opportunity may actually be protection from something that would have wounded you in ways you're not prepared to handle. There are doors that would have led you into environments that drain your spirit. There are connections that might have looked right, but carried motives you could not yet discern. There are paths that seemed promising, but would have taken you further from the life God is shaping in you. Closing those doors is not cruelty, it is care. It is also important to remember that God's no is never random. When he closes a door, he is not withholding goodness. He is preserving it. His timing and direction are rooted in wisdom that stretches far beyond our understanding. Even when you cannot trace his hand, you can trust his heart. So instead of asking, "Why is this not working?" begin to ask, "God, what are you protecting me from?" That shift in perspective changes everything. It moves your heart from frustration to trust, from confusion to quiet confidence that God is still guiding your steps. Sometimes, the most powerful evidence of God's protection is not in the doors he opens, but in the ones he refuses to let you walk through. Number 2, when you feel unexplainable delays in your life. There are seasons when life seems to slow down without warning. You feel ready, prepared, even eager to move forward. But something keeps holding you back. Plans stall, answers don't come, and progress feels just out of reach. It's not that you're doing nothing. It's that nothing seems to be moving. In those moments, delay can feel like denial. But the Bible shows us that delay is often a part of God's design, not a sign of his absence. God is not rushed, and he is never late. What feels like a delay to you may actually be precise timing in his plan. He sees the full picture, every detail, every consequence, every connection, and he moves with purpose, not pressure. One of the hardest truths to accept is that being ready in your own eyes does not always mean you are ready in God's timing. There may be things still forming within you. Strength, patience, wisdom, discernment that can only develop through waiting. Without that preparation, stepping forward too soon could expose you to challenges you are not equipped to handle. Delays can also be God's way of aligning circumstances around you. There are people who need to enter your life at the right time, situations that need to shift, and outcomes that must be arranged in ways you cannot control. If everything happened when you wanted it to, it might not come together the way it needs to. Sometimes, what you are asking for is good, but the timing is not yet right. And if God were to grant it too early, it could bring unnecessary struggle, confusion, or even harm. His delay is not a punishment. It is protection from stepping into something before it can truly bless you. Waiting is uncomfortable, but it is not empty. God is always at work, even when you cannot see it. He is shaping your path, preparing your heart, and guarding you from what is not meant for you yet. So when you find yourself in a season of delay, don't rush ahead out of frustration. Stay steady, stay faithful. Trust that the same God who placed the desire in your heart also knows the exact moment it should come to life. And when that time comes, you will understand that the delay was never meant to harm you. It was meant to protect you. Number 3, when certain people suddenly leave your life, there are few things more painful than watching someone you care about walk away. Sometimes it happens slowly, through distance and silence. Other times it's sudden and unexpected, leaving you with questions that never seem to find answers. You replay conversations, wonder what went wrong, and carry a quiet ache that lingers longer than you expected. But not every departure is a loss in the way it feels. The Bible teaches that not every relationship is meant to last forever. Some people are part of your journey for a season, not for your entire life. When that season ends, God may allow separation, not to hurt you, but to protect you from what that relationship could become if it continued. There are connections that begin with joy, but slowly shift in ways that are harder to recognize. Influence changes, values drift, peace becomes tension, and sometimes, without realizing it, you start to compromise parts of yourself just to keep the relationship intact. God, in His wisdom, sees these subtle changes long before you fully understand them. When He removes someone from your life, it is not always because they are bad people. Sometimes it is simply because they are no longer aligned with where He is leading you. Holding on too tightly can keep you anchored to a place God is asking you to move beyond. Letting go, though painful, can create space for growth, healing, and new direction. It is natural to grieve what was lost. Even when God is at work, your heart still feels the absence. But in that space, there is also an invitation to trust that God knows what you need better than you do. He is not taking away something good without purpose. He is clearing the path for something that will not harm your peace or hinder your calling. You may not understand it immediately. You may not even agree with it at first. But over time, clarity often follows obedience. What once felt like rejection begins to look like protection. What once felt like abandonment reveals itself as divine care. So instead of clinging to what has already slipped away, place it gently into God's hands. Trust that if He allowed someone to leave, there is a reason rooted in love, even if it is hidden for now. Sometimes the people God removes are the very ones He is protecting you from. Number 4. When you feel a strong inner warning or lack of peace, there are moments when everything looks right on the outside, yet something within you feels unsettled. You cannot fully explain it, and there may not be any clear reason to walk away. But deep inside there is a quiet resistance, a sense that something is not right. This inner uneasiness is not something to ignore. It may be one of the most personal ways God protects you. The Bible speaks about God guiding His people, not only through visible signs, but also through an inner awareness, a sense of peace, or the lack of it. When you are moving in alignment with His will, there is often a steady calm, even in uncertainty. But when something is off, that peace can quietly disappear. This does not mean every uncomfortable feeling is a warning. Fear and anxiety can come from many places. But there is a difference between fear and spiritual discernment. Fear tends to be loud and overwhelming, while God's warning is often gentle, persistent, and difficult to ignore over time. Ignoring that inner signal can lead you into situations that look good at first but slowly reveal deeper problems. Many people, when looking back, realize they felt something was wrong from the beginning, but chose to move forward anyway. That quiet voice they dismissed was not confusion. It was protection, learning to recognize and trust. This inner guidance takes time. It requires stillness, honesty, and a willingness to pause when something does not feel right. In a world that constantly pushes you to act quickly, choosing to slow down and listen is an act of wisdom. When you feel that lack of peace, it is not weakness. It is not overthinking. It may be God gently guiding you away from something you cannot yet fully see. He does not always explain everything, but He often gives you enough awareness to step back before harm can take root. So pay attention to what is happening within you. Do not rush past it or silence it just to keep moving forward. That quiet warning may be one of the clearest signs that God is actively protecting your life, even when you do not yet understand why. Number 5. When you experience unexpected detours that change your path. There are times when life takes a turn you never planned. You were moving in a clear direction with a goal in mind, and then suddenly something shifts. Plans fall apart, circumstances change, and you find yourself on a path you didn't choose. These detours can feel unsettling, even frustrating, because they interrupt the vision you had for your life. But throughout the Bible, God often works through redirection rather than straight lines. What looks like a disruption to you may actually be divine guidance. You see a broken plan, but God sees a protected future. He knows where certain paths would lead, even when they appear safe from your perspective. Detours can come in many forms. It may be a missed opportunity, a sudden change in direction, or a situation that forces you to start over. In the moment, it rarely feels positive. You may question why things had to change when everything seemed to be going well. But what you cannot see are the outcomes that never happened because of that shift. Sometimes the path you were on would have led you into unnecessary struggle, wrong environments, or decisions made too quickly. God, in His wisdom, intervenes not always by explaining, but by redirecting. He moves you away before you fully step into something that could harm your peace or your purpose. It takes humility to accept that your plan is not always the best plan. We naturally hold on to what we understand, what we have prepared for, what feels secure, but God's perspective is wider. He is not only thinking about where you are now, but where you are going and who you are becoming along the way. When you experience a detour, it is easy to resist it. You may try to go back, to fix what changed, or to force things to return to how they were. But sometimes the greatest act of faith is to follow where God is leading, even when it feels unfamiliar. Trust grows when you choose to walk forward without having all the answers. In time, many detours begin to make sense. You start to see how one change led to another, how one redirection opened a door you never would have found on your own. What once felt like confusion reveals itself as careful guidance. So when your path shifts unexpectedly, do not assume you are lost. You may be exactly where you need to be. God is not only leading you forward, He is also protecting you from what you were never meant to face. Conclusion: what feels like loss may actually be God's protection. As you reflect on these moments, closed doors, delayed answers, people leaving, inner warnings, unexpected detours, it becomes clearer that not everything in life is random. There is a pattern, a quiet consistency in the way God works. He does not always announce His protection in obvious ways, but He weaves it into the details of your life. What once felt like disappointment may begin to look different. That opportunity you lost, that relationship that ended, that delay that tested your patience, each of these could have been a shield placed carefully in your path, not to hold you back, but to keep you from stepping into something that would have brought deeper harm. It is not always easy to accept this in the moment. When you are standing in the middle of confusion, trust can feel distant, but faith grows when you choose to believe that God's vision is greater than your own. He sees beyond what is immediate. He understands what is hidden, and He acts out of love, even when that love feels unfamiliar. You may never fully know all the things God has protected you from. Some dangers remain unseen, some outcomes never unfold, but that does not make His protection any less real. In fact, it makes it even more profound, because he was working for your good without needing recognition. So as you move forward, carry this truth with you. Not every closed door is a loss, not every delay is a setback, and not every ending is a failure. Sometimes they are signs that God is still guiding, still guarding, still caring for you in ways you cannot yet fully understand. And one day, when you look back, you may realize that what you once questioned was actually one of the greatest acts of protection in your life.